Hey, did you go to Cheryl's webinar?
No, I watched the video after.
I thought you were going to be there.
Yeah, something came up last minute. It's kind of embarrassing. I had a dog emergency.
A dog emergency.
Don't ask.
Okay, I won't. But you got the video?
Yeah, I watched it, and there was so much content. I emailed Cheryl after and asked her for a copy of the slide deck.
And she sent it to you?
Yeah.
That'll be helpful. You want to get started? You ready?
Sure. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive podcast, where we refuse to just skim the headlines. I'm Morgan Hale. In the world of enterprise software, the stakes are too high for fluff. You need to know what is actually going on beneath the surface.
And I'm Ryan Caldwell. Today we're doing something a little different. So we were invited to a webinar about security in the time of AI. The presenter was Cheryl Wellman. She's the CFO at AccountTech, an accounting software company. The content turned out to be pretty important, so we decided to try to distill the points she made in her presentation.
Basically, we're going to try to take the extensive research and suggestions in her presentation and get right to the key takeaways. Let's dive in. Okay, picture this. It's Friday morning. You are the first one in the office. You've got your coffee in hand. It's hot. It's fresh. You were feeling good. You know that feeling. It's the end of the week. The vibe is just right. You sit down, crack your knuckles, and you start scrolling through email. It's going to be a good day.
That sounds idyllic. I mean, almost too idyllic. That's usually the moment in a horror movie where the music changes.
Exactly. Because right then, your cell phone rings. You look at the screen. It's a video call from your broker, the big boss.
A video call at 7 a.m., that creates, immediate physiological urgency. You're already on the back foot.
Right. So you answer. And she's in her home office. You recognize the background, the bookshelves, that specific art on the wall. But she looks off.
Off how?
Her voice is a little raspy. She tells you she isn't feeling well, which, explains why she isn't at the office yet. She even mentioned she missed her MLS meeting this morning because of it.
See, pause right there. That's the detail. I missed the MLS meeting. That is specific insider context. It validates her identity better than a password ever could. It establishes trust instantly.
Precision matching. And then comes the ask. She says, look, I can't go into details right now. My throat is killing me, but I need you to send the balance due to that contractor immediately.
The contractor for the new branch office.
The very one. She says they need the money right now to get the certificate of occupancy. If they don't get paid in the next hour, no CO, no opening. She says, I'm sending you the routing and wire info right now.
This is a textbook pressure cooker. It's high stakes, a tight deadline, and a direct order from the top.
It gets worse. Your boss, the VP of Finance, they're off today. You are the only person in the building with bank access, and here is your broker, the head of the company, telling you to move. You want to be the hero, right?
Of course.
You want to show her, hey, I'm VP material, I can fix bottlenecks?
And logically, the VP usually proves this. But in the corporate hierarchy, the broker supersedes the VP. It's an override.
Yeah.
The psychology here is just obey authority to save the day.
Exactly. So you push aside the usual protocol because it's an emergency. You log in, you wire the $150,000 balance to the contractor, you text her, done. You feel like a rock star. You saved the branch opening.
And so you need that second cup of coffee.
You walk into the break room a little later, and who is standing there pouring herself a mug?
The broker.
The broker. Talking to the marketing director, looking completely healthy. You walk up confused and ask, hey, feeling better? Did you get the confirmation for the wire? And she looks at you like you have three heads. She says, I don't know what you're talking about.
And the floor just drops out from under you.
You just sent $150,000 to a deepfake.
That is a terrifying scenario. And the scariest part, it isn't a hypothetical from some sci-fi writer's room. That specific story, it comes from Cheryl Wellman, the CFO at AccountTech. It's a real-world example of how AI fraud is operating right now.
It's wild. We're talking about a level of sophistication that feels like it's out of a spy movie. But today, we aren't just going to gawk at the technology. We are doing a deep dive into the only thing that actually stops this.
Internal controls.
Which, I'll be honest, usually sounds like the most boring topic on earth. It just sounds like red tape and dusty binders.
It does.
But after that story, it sounds like survival.
It absolutely is. And if we look at the broader landscape, this isn't going away. We've been reviewing the Global Risk Trends 2025 data, And, well, the picture is clear. Cybersecurity is sitting right at the top. It is the #1 risk organizations faced. 73% of respondents flagged it.
Wow, that's a massive consensus.
It is. But what's more interesting is what's climbing the charts. Digital disruption, which includes AI, is jumping from the #4 risk today to the #2 risk expected within 3 years.
That aligns perfectly with our opening story. The risk isn't just someone guessed my password, it's someone became my boss.
Exactly. We need to unpack the nature of this new antagonist. This wasn't some Prince of Nigeria email with bad grammar.
No, this was targeted.
We call this spear phishing or whaling, but powered by AI. The hackers didn't just guess. They studied the target. They read the website bios to know who the broker was. They likely hacked a lower-level agent's email months ago just to watch the traffic, to learn the internal lingo, the schedule, the fact that there was a new branch office opening.
They knew about the certificate of occupancy. That's the detail that gets me. That adds so much legitimacy to the request.
That's the key. They learn your controls, or your lack of them, and they mimic your staff. And here is the chilling reality, what I call the luck imbalance. Hackers can try hundreds of phishing emails. They can generate 1,000 deepfake videos. They can fail 99 times. They only need to get lucky once to get that wire sent.
Yeah, and the defender.
Your company's controls have to work 100% of the time. No exceptions. One slip up, I'll just bypass the rule this one time because the broker asked, and the money's gone.
So let's build the shield. We keep saying internal controls, but let's define that properly, because I picture a dusty binder on a shelf that nobody ever reads.
It often feels that way, but let's look at the rigorous definition from the source material. Internal controls are a set of policies, processes, and procedures. They are designed to do 3 specific things: manage risk, safeguard assets like that 150 grand, and ensure reliable financial reporting.
Okay, so it's the operating system for safety.
Precisely. And it's not just an accounting thing. The scope involves everyone. It starts at the board of directors, who set the policy. It trickles down to management, who enforce it. And it goes all the way to the data entry staff, who live it every day. It's a system of accountability.
Now, in the materials we looked at, there is a breakdown of the 2 main types of controls. I found the analogies they used really helpful here to distinguish them, because sometimes this stuff gets dense.
Yes, preventative and detective.
Let's start with preventative.
Okay, so think of preventative controls as locking the door. These are designed to stop the unwanted event, the fraud, the error, before it ever happens.
So in our deepfake story, a preventative control would be the thing that physically stops me from hitting send on that wire transfer.
Exactly. It's the barrier. Examples would be multi-factor authentication, or MFA, approval thresholds, or what we call segregation of duties. If the control works, the crime is impossible to commit. The system literally won't let you proceed.
And then there's detective controls.
Right. Think of that like the alarm system or a security camera. The event has already happened, someone broke in, but the control identifies it and flags it so you can mitigate the damage.
Like realizing the money is gone and calling the bank immediately.
Or conducting audits, doing reconciliations at the end of the month, analyzing variances in the budget. It's the cleanup crew and the investigator. But obviously, in the case of a wire transfer,
I really want the lock to work.
you need the lock to work. Once the money leaves the building, getting it back is a coin toss at best. Detective controls tell you that you've been robbed. Preventative controls stop the robbery.
So let's open up the preventative toolkit. This is the meat and potatoes of how we stop the deepfake. The first big concept, and this came up repeatedly in the research, is segregation of duties.
This is fundamental. If you take nothing else away from this deep dive, take this. Segregation of duties is like breaking the key to the vault in half. No single person should be able to initiate and complete a critical transaction all by themselves.
In the slide deck, they broke this down into 3 specific roles. Can you walk us through those? Because I think this is where the hero in our story really messed up.
Sure. So you have data entry. That's the person coding the invoice or entering the transaction into the system. Then you have approval. That's the person reviewing it, checking the documentation and authorizing it. And finally, disbursement, the person who actually signs the check or releases the funds at the bank level.
So let's map this onto my Friday morning nightmare. I was the one in the office. I entered the wire info. I approved the wire mentally because the broker told me to. And I dispersed the funds. I did all 3.
And that is the failure point.
Yeah.
That is where the hero complex killed the company cash flow. If your organization had strict segregation of duties, even if you believed the deepfake 100%, you would have entered the request and then Nothing.
I would have hit a wall.
You would have needed a second person to approve it, and potentially a third person to release it. The odds of fooling 3 people or hacking 3 people simultaneously are exponentially lower than fooling one isolated, eager-to-please employee.
That makes total sense. It forces a conversation. If I have to ask someone else to approve it, I have to say, hey, the broker just called me on video. And the other person might say, that's weird. I just saw her walk past my window outside.
Exactly. It reintroduces reality into the loop.
But I'll play devil's advocate here. I can hear listeners saying, we're a small shop. We don't have a massive finance department. We can't have 3 people on every $50 expense report.
And you shouldn't. That would be paralysis. If you put that much red tape on buying office supplies, your business would grind to a halt. That's where approval frameworks come in. You scale the defense based on the risk.
There was a really clear demo hierarchy in the source material. I want to walk through this because it gives a blueprint for how money should flow.
So for small amounts, say under $5,000, you might only require one level of approval. It's low risk. If you lose $5,000, it hurts, but it doesn't sink the ship.
Okay, so speed is prioritized there.
Right. But as the numbers go up, the walls get higher. From $5,000 to $20,000, you escalate to 2 levels of approval. Maybe the manager and the director.
Then you get into the danger zone, $20,000 to $100,000.
Here you want 2 approvals, but, and this is key, one of them needs to be outside the department.
Oh, I like that. So if I'm in marketing and I'm trying to pay some consultant, someone from finance or ops has to look at it and say, wait, who is this?
Exactly. It breaks the echo chamber. Department heads can sometimes get tunnel vision, or honestly, they can be coerced or collude with their own staff. An outsider offers an objective check. They don't care about your marketing deadline. They care about the budget. And then, for greater than $100,000, like our deepfake scenario, you need 3 levels of approval, with 2 outside the department.
So in our story, that $150,000 wire would have triggered a 3-person alarm.
Correct. The system would have screamed for authorization.
And then there was my absolute favorite rule in this section, the nuclear option.
The broker-owner rule, yes.
Yeah. For anything over $500,000, the broker owner personally delivers the payment.
It sounds quaint, doesn't it? Almost analog, effectively turning the CEO into a courier. But think about the security implications. You are physically removing the digital risk. You are validating the transaction with human presence.
It's the ultimate friction. You can't deep fake a physical handshake at the bank. You can't hack a physical check handoff. Well, not easily anyway.
Correct. And friction is the right word here, because that leads us to the tech side, MFA, multi-factor authentication.
The slide deck described this as a delicate balance.
It is a tug of war. On one side, you have extremely effective internal controls locking everything down. On the other side, you have speed. And in industries like real estate or finance, speed determines success. If you are too slow, the deal dies.
Right. If it takes me 45 minutes to log in to pay a vendor because I need 6 codes and a retina scan, I'm going to find a way around the system. I'm going to share passwords with my assistant. I'm going to prop the door open.
Exactly. Security that is too difficult to use is actually insecurity because people will bypass it. But MFA is non-negotiable now. It's that second verification, the text to your phone, the authenticator app. It verifies you are who you say you are. You have to implement it, but you have to make it usable.
So we have the locks, we have the segregated duties, we have the approval ladders. Is that it? Are we safe? Can I sleep at night?
Not quite. You can build the most beautiful fortress in the world, but if you never check the walls for cracks, you're still vulnerable. This brings us to validation.
There was a slide about centralizing processes.
Centralization helps because it reduces the number of entry points you have to watch. If every branch office does their own accounting their own way, using their own local spreadsheets, you have chaos. You have shadows where fraud can hide. Centralize it, and you can monitor it. And then there's subsequent vetting system analysis, which sounds like something I'd need a PhD to do.
It's corporate speak for check the system. It's not enough to set the rules. You have to vet that the system is actually working. Are people actually following the approval steps? Or are they just rubber stamping things because they're busy?
Right. I've seen that happen. Oh, it's from Bob. Bob is good.
Right.
And they click approve without even reading the invoice.
Exactly. And this brings us back to the most unpredictable variable in the whole equation, the human being.
The human firewall. Slide 12 hits this hard. Continuous training.
Because the hackers are learning, right? They're constantly evolving. Deepfakes didn't exist as a viable threat vector a few years ago. Now they are here. If you trained your staff on cybersecurity in 2020 and haven't updated them, they are fighting a modern war with musket tactics.
That's a great point. I think a lot of people think, oh, I did the cyber training during onboarding 3 years ago. I'm good.
And meanwhile, AI voice synthesis has advanced 10 generations since then. So if that employee in the intro had been trained on deepfakes, if they knew that urgent video calls are a common tactic, they might have paused.
They might have said, okay, broker, I hear you. I'm going to hang up and call you back on your known cell number just to verify. That one step breaks the spell.
Verify, then trust.
Exactly. It's uncomfortable to tell your boss, I need to verify you or you. But a culture of security makes that acceptable. It frames it not as, I don't trust you, but as, I am protecting the company's assets.
Okay, let's synthesize this. We started with a terrifying loss. $150,000 gone in a blink because of a digital mask and some psychological pressure.
We saw that the risk landscape is shifting aggressively toward these digital AI-driven attacks. The luck imbalance favors the attacker so heavily.
But then we realized the solution isn't necessarily more fancy AI, it's old school discipline.
It is. It's locking the door with preventative controls, segregating duties so no one person has the keys to the kingdom, setting up approval frameworks so money can't move without multiple sets of eyes on it,
And setting the alarm with detective controls to catch mistakes if they slip through.
and validating it all with training. The fraud in our story worked because a human was pressured to bypass the protocol. The protocol was the shield. They dropped the shield because they thought they were helping.
That is the big takeaway for me. The tech will get better, the fakes will look more real, but if the rule is 2 people must sign, the deepfake can't sign.
Precisely. The internal control is the anchor in reality that the illusion can't replicate.
I want to leave everyone with a thought that really stuck with me when we were reviewing the detective control section. We talk a lot about prevention stopping the theft.
Right.
But imagine your preventative locks fail today. Imagine the deepfake works, the employee bypasses the rule, and the wire is sent. Here's the question. Would your alarm system, your reconciliations, your audits, catch the thief before the money is gone forever? Or would you only find out at the end of the month when the bank statement doesn't match?
That is the difference between a bad Tuesday and a bankruptcy.
Something to chew on with your next cup of coffee. Stay safe out there, everyone.
Check your locks. That's our show for today. Breaking down the webinar this past week from Cheryl Wellman, CFO at Account Tech. The title, in case you want to search for it online, is Internal Controls in the Time of AI. If you care about security, you should watch the webinar. Join us next time for another deep dive into an interesting, timely, or just plain complex topic in the world of enterprise software.